work with both of you on this committee. Secretary Turner, welcome. You know, the entire point of your department is to help Americans keep a roof over their head. Mm-hmm. I am really afraid that pretty much everything that you and President Trump have done to date appears kind of in direct opposition to that goal. First off, the president's illegal funding freezes are causing chaos across the country. I was in Everett, in my home state of Washington, a few weeks ago. I was talking to organizations that help people find housing, and if they can't get their already awarded funding, they will be forced to start evicting people this summer and may even have to shut down their services altogether. And on top of that, you're pushing out 2,300 staff who are dedicated public servants with decades of experience. And I just don't see how you can tell us with a straight face that forcing out over a quarter of your workforce is going to have no effect on your department's ability to meet its statutory responsibilities under law. And now, after all the damage that's been done, you're here today requesting that Congress slash funding for your department nearly in half. Nearly in half. That would force millions of Americans out of their homes. Your request would force states to make up for the draconian cuts and abdication of responsibility. And I don't know what state can afford to do that, especially when this administration is simultaneously working to shift even more costs to states for things like SNAP and health care. It is kind of absurd to claim that we cannot afford basic programs that keep people off the streets, but we can hand trillions of dollars in new tax cuts to billionaires and big corporations. You know, housing affordability and homelessness is a crisis in Washington State and in many places across the country. You know that. But this administration just appears to me to be trying to make it all worse. And I'll tell you right now, looking at your budget request, as far as I'm concerned, as vice chair of this committee, it's not going anywhere. I want to start with the funding that you are illegally freezing. The Continuum of Care program is essential to addressing homelessness in my home state of Washington. In March, HUD began issuing grant agreements with a host of new conditions that are deeply concerning and completely unrelated to HUD's mission. HUD did that without notice and without any explanation of what the vaguely worded conditions mean or what a grantee would be required to do. As I said earlier, organizations I have talked to in my state say that without these funds, they're going to evict people this summer. The courts, as you know, are sorting this out. I'm glad to see that they have extended the preliminary injunction to stop HUD from enforcing these new and extreme requirements. But Mr. Secretary, I want to ask you, are you going to, and I quote from the court order, take every step necessary to effectuate this order, including clearing any administrative, operational, or technical hurdles to implementation?
Thank you, Madam Senator. Great to meet you. As you have said, this is under active litigation, and so we'll leave it there. And once this is through litigation, I look forward to having a conversation, but right now I won't comment on it.
Not even to tell us if you're following the court order?
I will follow the law, but I won't mention anymore for it's under active litigation.
Are you following the court order?
Our team follows the law and the court order, yes, ma'am.
Are you in full compliance with the court order?
I'm not going to speak anymore on it because it's an active litigation.
You can't even tell us?
You know, the other thing that I wanted to mention to you.
Well, let me just follow up on this. When will you be in full compliance with the court order? Are funds being withheld today?
We will be with you as soon as we can once it's done with active litigation.
So are funds being withheld right now, even though the court order is in place?
You know, you talked about the 2,300 people.
So, Mr. Secretary, I just want you to know I'm talking about this continuum care because I am hearing from providers in my state that funds are being withheld, meaning you are not in compliance. Are you aware of that?
Ma'am, I am aware of the litigation, yes, ma'am. It's an active litigation, Senator.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that funds are still being withheld despite the court order. So I need to know if you know that, and if you're going to make sure that the funds are released.
Yes, ma'am. I'm the secretary, and so things that go on at HUD I'm well aware of. But I also know with this active litigation that I'm not going to say very much in our hearing today, but happy to talk to you as time goes on and as I'm able to.
Well,
I commit to that.
Yeah, well, we are running out of time. They're going to start evicting people, and they need those funds. I want to move on to another example, because I just have
Can I address the 2,300 people right quick?
Well, you're just going to, okay, you got 10 seconds, because I need to talk to you
All
about a
right,
specific
I'll take 10.
program.
So just to clarify, the 2,300 people that left HUD, it was voluntary. They were not forced
No,
out.
I know. I've been hearing that from every secretary that comes before.
Well, no, ma'am, this is just me from HUD, and I'm just telling you,
I
it's
know.
2,300 that they took the
2,300 that were
DRP.
told if you don't get out now, you're going to be sorry in the future. So it is people that we need there. Anyway, let me move on to another example. Your Green and Resilient Retrofit Program, that was created to help make properties more resilient to disasters and less expensive to heat and cool. On day one, you and the president deemed this common sense program woke somehow and have illegally attempted to terminate it. The courts have now directed HUD to process and disperse those funds. But I want you to know we are hearing from owners that HUD is doing nothing to restore the administrative contract that DOJ canceled, which is holding up this deal from moving forward. This committee has now asked 5 times for HUD to brief my staff on this, yet they've refused to speak to us about basic legal requirements. So let me just ask you here today, why are you preventing HUD-assisted property owners from making overdue upgrades to low-income and senior housing?
Again, Senator, this also is under active litigation, as you know, and so my comments on this will be 0 to limited. It's under active litigation. As soon as we get done with that, I'm happy to speak with you.
Well, there are people waiting, and this fund's critical, and there are court orders. I expect them to be followed. And I'm just going to say for the record, there is nothing objectionable about this funding. It is stunning to me that we are under a court order and you're not giving the money out. It's for things like replacing windows and outdated HVAC systems, installing fire-resistant roofs. These are things that are badly needed for people in this country, and I am out of time, so thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, ma'am.
Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chair Hyde-Smith and Ranking Member Gillibrand, Secretary Turner.